California.
1983 wasn't the most exciting of years, but it still had its share of moments. It was the first season won by a driver in a turbo engine, Nelson Piquet in his Brabham BMW, although Ferrari were consistent enough and still managed to clinch the Constructors' title. It was also the first year with a full ban of ground effect after the introduction of the concept, as the regulations mandated a flat undertray on the cars in order to curb downforce and corner speeds after the mad fest that was 1982. The United States Grand Prix West was the second race of the season, and after being disqualified from the Brazilian Grand Prix again, Keke Rosberg was looking keen to recover. He was starting third on the grid, behind the Ferraris of Patrick Tambay and René Arnoux. Behind him were his teammate Jacques Lafitte, Elio De Angelis, and Derek Warwick. And if you look way back down the order, you will find the McLarens of John Watson and Niki Lauda in 22nd and 23rd respectively. So whenever you feel bad for McLaren fans today, just remember, this is nothing new, and they know pain like no other.
Ma a questo punto io entrerei in diretta sulle immagini perché sento il rombo dei motori.
Oh, great. It's in Italia now. Very funny. Che mondo del cazzo. Ah, sudden neck pain! Quick, somebody get us a lampas! Some things speak for themselves, but you can't, Michelab, because beer cannot speak. The 1983 USA Grand Prix West is going. Russell goes completely nuts and shoves Arnoux out of the way, but can't get to Tambay in time, who remains in first, while Lafitte manages to climb up to third, and most of the others stay put. This isn't a video game, Keke. You don't get extra points for a stylish pass. But I have to admit, those were some sick moves. The Tyrrells were still pretty decent in the early 80s, as Alboreto happily displays by passing Arnoux. No, Vinco Dad, no! We've only just barely started. I didn't even get to acknowledge you. No one can break the Vinco Rock unless he pins it on the wall himself. I think I speak for most of us when I say that this is one of the most useless uses of picture-in-picture ever. Derek Warwick retires and has to put out his own fire because apparently he can do it better than the guy who was hired to do that. I'll give this one a pass, he only just parked it there. Alan Prost stops at the pits and everybody runs to give their offerings to their god. Rosberg pulls out a Tambay and the Italian commentator is surprisingly calm. Davide Valsecchi was clearly not inspired by this guy. I know this is getting overused at this point, but Jahier comes pretty much out of nowhere to overtake Alboreto and ends up letting Patrese for the both of them, taking one step forward and immediately one step back. Alboreto then proceeds into the pits, and judging from his gesturing, he appears to be in distress. Italian sign language is very easy to pick up. Rosberg attempts to pull out once again, but he blows it, leaving Tambay disappointed and incredibly upset. Keke then goes to sit on the corner to think about what he's done. So this means it's suddenly 1979 again, as Jacques Lafitte leads the race. What is it with early 80s America and their atrocious TV work? So the Williams car is apparently named Bob, and I have no problem with that. No problem at all. Bob. Tambay seems rather accepting of this whole debacle. Whoa! Lauda and Watson in 6th and 7th? Are the McLarens running on steroids? They're not supposed to be this good! It's ruining my narrative! Mauro Baldi lives up to his name, and buckets the Alfa Romeo in the wall. Son of a bitch! 3rd place? What? Just what? The problem of looking at nothing hasn't gone away since Caesar's Palace either. Okay, no, I can't let it go now. You've had half an hour to get that thing out of there. You people are impossible! Watson overcooks it, an expression I don't think Lauda would appreciate, and takes 3rd place. And Tambay is still lost, it seems. I'm honestly losing faith at this point. Is every American race gonna be like this? I can't afford to lose my patience over crappy broadcasting. I have crappy jokes to make.
Je parle en français. Je t'ai vu, c'était la première fois avec un geste comme si c'était en anglais.
That's amazing. The Italian commentator speaks French too. It's so nice to have so many cultured people in this series. And also, good thing I kept these. Not so useless now, huh, mother? Well, this is it. Watson's in first. Hell has frozen over, it's raining frogs and knives from the sky, and Valtteri Bottas has become a good driver. What is the world coming to? And Niki Lauda is second, just to seal the deal. Fill my eyes with that triple vision. Sullivan, what are you doing? Do you want to kill someone? Nelson Piquet also surreptitiously retires with barely a mention in this episode. Homegrown pride for the most boring commentator of all time. Excuse me, but John Watson is an Ulsterman. The Queen will not be happy about this. Unlike Jahier, who only took a small step, Arnaud takes a giant leap, bringing Cheever along for the ride, and leaving poor Bob in the dust. But Cheever isn't happy with only tagging along, and Arnaud tries to put him back in his place.
Ma è chiaro ormai che... Ah!
You and me both, man. You and me both. And in the end, John Watson, the madman, wins the 1983 USA Grand Prix West from 22nd on the grid, and Niki Lauda finishes 2nd from 23rd, and René Arnoux finishes 3rd from 2nd, although he had some troubles and then managed to recover. I guess this race proves that miracles can happen, and nightmares are real. And Long Beach is a great track. Oh, and Martin Lindenberg? You're an ass. Get good. This was a fine race. Not the most eventful, but it had its own few share good spots. I did this one because I wanted to get another 1980s race done there before F1 starts back up again. And also because this is kind of special because John Watson won, run from 22nd, and this record has never been beaten so far, and yeah, that's it. The next one will be the preseason show thing, and after that, we're back on the groove. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you on the preseason special.